Coming up next on the Jeff Crilley Show, if you've ever watched one of those national pageants like Miss America and you wonder to yourself, how did that contestant get so poised? Well, sometimes there's a coach like my next guest behind the scenes making sure they put their best foot forward. Her journey just ahead.
Many are predicting that the worst is yet to come, which is unfortunate, said one person here. Until now, they've enjoyed the reputation of being the nation's icebox.
Watched a burglar in his home this morning by webcam.
As a journalist of over 25 years, stories are what make my world turn.
Reporting live from the Dallas newsroom tonight, Jeff Crilley, Fox 4 News.
But in 2008, I took the jump from my familiar life and started a PR firm from my home.
We're talking about anyone with a camcorder like the one I'm using becomes a television network.
We started slowly growing the company, and we now have over 100 clients, and we've branched into the world of live digital broadcasting. I now own 8 different TV studios and have a huge team, and the stories that I now get to share are sometimes the most important of my life. Life has a funny way of coming around full circle. This is the Jeff Crilley Show.
Well, what can we all learn from watching a pageant like Miss America? Well, certainly you learn poise and confidence and the ability to answer questions on the spot. And sometimes there's a coach like my next guest behind the scenes, Heather Sumlin. She is with heathersumlin.com. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right, we're old friends. I think I met you maybe a decade and a half ago, something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were doing something at a library. You were speaking and selling your book, and I came and I bought in. Yeah.
Well, I am so impressed with Heather because she's been at this mental management game for a long time. Tell us your journey.
I have. I think it was 2003. I started working for my father's company. My father's an Olympic champion. He started the mental management system back in 1977, was when he started his company. He had been teaching the mental game based on his experience. So he was a rifle shooter, and he was competing back in the early 70s, and he wasn't reaching his potential under pressure. So what he decided to do is interview Olympic champions to find out what are they doing differently. He created a system based on that information, upgraded to it, dominated his sport. He became the world champion in 1974, became Olympic champion in 76, started mental management in 77. I came on board with him in 2003 because I absolutely loved what he teaches and how it works for people, and I just wanted to help him grow his business. Fast forward nearly 20 years later, and I'm teaching it myself, and I've run my own company now called Sumlin Solutions. I'm teaching mental management and interview skills for those who need it.
Outstanding. We're going to pull up your website, and as we scroll down the website, I know you teach in a variety of areas, including like dog handlers. I mean, tell us about this.
So early on, working with my father, I took a phone call from someone who wanted to buy some books. And my father wrote a book called With Winning in Mind, and I didn't know that it was super helpful for dog handlers. And they were telling me that it was so critical to be in control of your mind under pressure before you enter the ring, because your dog feeds off of your emotions. And so I started just being fascinated by that. I have dogs, but I never ran them or competed with them or trialed with them. And then over the years, I've started taking over that market. So a lot of the dog handlers who need to control their mind before they enter the ring, whether it's for agility, obedience, freestyle, they come to me.
Wow. Okay, let's talk about your work in the pageant world. And we've got some pictures, and as we put these pictures up, maybe make some comments about who we're looking at.
Okay, this is Mallory Fuller. She was Miss Texas 2021. Mallory I have known since she was about 8 years old, because her older sister was one of my very first clients ever, her older sister Morgan. And then her other sister, middle sister, won Miss Texas. I'm going to forget the year, so we're not going to say. But I worked with her as well, and then I worked with Mallory, and that whole family has just been amazing to work with. This is Jane. That was Jane Kennedy. She was Miss Sweetheart, which is a national competition that she won. And then this is Gracie Hunt. Gracie was Miss Kansas USA, an incredible family, incredible human. Absolutely love her. And then there's back to Mallory again.
Wow. Okay. So tell us, when you're first working with a client, what is it like? You're having a get-to-know-you session before you take them on?
So there's a 20-minute evaluation call that you can sign up for on my website if you're interested in learning more about what I do and how I personalize and customize training for you. So that's usually the first step. From there, it depends on what the client needs, because some of them want to work on interview skills. Some people want to work on the mental management. Maybe they want to take a webinar. Maybe they need to work with my dad or my brother and not me. So that's a great way to get started. And you can also just check out the website and see what I have to offer.
What are some classic mistakes people make when they enter a pageant?
Believing that winning is the main goal. That's one. I think the journey is worth all of the effort that you put into it. Basically, you're going to learn more on your struggle up the mountain than standing on the summit. So if your whole goal is just to win, you're kind of barking up the wrong tree. So I would say you've got to look at what can I learn and how can I change in order to become a better me, no matter whether I win the crown or not. So that's one. Another one is that you're competing against everybody else. I think that's huge. This is not an opponent-based sport. This is a sport where you really are working together with your fellow competitors. You're not competing against them. Like if we were boxing, it would matter what you did and I would need to watch your video. But I don't need to do that in pageant competition. I need to value you, choose to be encouraged by you. I do not need to compete against you. So those are a couple of things.
Seems like this could help you in the business world, because we're judged by how we communicate, how we show up for the world.
Absolutely.
Have you ever worked with a business person who just wanted to be smoother?
I have worked with a few people who wanted to upgrade. So maybe they wanted to move on to the next level and didn't believe that they could. I've worked with a few people on communication skills or being confident in the boardroom, that kind of thing. So I have, and I could. That would be fun challenge.
You have a very popular podcast called With Winning in Mind, and this particular episode, you interview Holly Brand?
Yes, that's Holly. So Holly is currently a contestant on The Voice.
No.
I've known Holly since she was about 15, before
That's so
she
cool.
won Miss Mississippi's Outstanding Teen. So I worked with her on mental management and interview skills for that. And then she won Miss Mississippi. She actually went to Miss America the same year as Mallory. They became fast friends. And then now she's made the top 8 of The Voice. So we all need to vote for her tonight.
That's amazing. Now, do you get as nervous as the contestant when they're competing?
I don't think so. I don't think so. I truly believe that God chooses the winner, and so at the end of the day, that's not my place. I may be more nervous than I want to be, but I don't know that I'm more nervous than them, and I want them to be nervous. That's the difference. I don't want them to fight those feelings away. I want them to invite those feelings in.
I know you've worked with countless clients over the years, and they're all your favorites, but what story stands out in your mind? Like, gosh, this is why I do what I do. Which one of your favorites?
Every week it changes. I guess right now, Holly is a really great testament to what I do. We've remained friends and connected over all of these years, and every time she has a new challenge, she's always calling me and saying, Heather, help me with my challenge and help me move to that next level. So she would be one. In fact, this shirt is literally from her store. They have a boutique called Brand New You. I didn't plan that, just happened to be wearing it because I like it. But it's one of those things where just helping someone through all of their different stages of life is really exciting.
Have you started to work with the children of any of your earliest clients yet?
Not yet.
But that's coming.
Not yet. It is now. I have worked with siblings, obviously, and then sometimes I'll have someone who maybe their daughter needed to work on interview skills to make a palm squat or something like that. Next thing you know, they're like, "Oh, my son has an interview coming up for college. Can you help him?" Okay, I can help them all. So that's kind of how it works. So I want it being a friend of the whole family.
That's awesome. Okay, we only have a couple minutes left, so tell the viewer, if the viewer is thinking, "Gosh, I might need to call Heather," how do you know when you need to call somebody like you?
I think one thing that you can do is watch a little bit of the With Winning in Mind podcast, and that might help you to learn a little bit more about who we are, what we do. Go on my website, check out the testimonials on there. I have several testimonials from some girls that I've worked with. You can also set up that evaluation call or send me an email. I'm happy to help you, and I'll help you know whether or not you need me. I know I can't work with everybody. So that's not my goal, is to work with every single human who contacts me. My goal is to work with those who need me.
Outstanding. You've been an amazing guest. We're going to end with the website, which is heathersumlin.com. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you so much for having me, Jeff.
That's it for now. We'll see you next time.